Shalom, my brothers and my sisters. Another day that the Most High has given us. We will be glad and rejoice in it. Just wanted to share some thoughts that the Most High has placed on me. Really a word that has kind of been in me for the past couple of days, but really between yesterday and today, he kind of confirmed it for me. But it's the idea that, for one, we as set-apart believers, we have to take this walk more serious, right? As we know that there's judgment coming on the earth right now. We're in the middle of judgment. And in order for us to stand, to be able to stand in that judgment, right, we have to be at the secret place. We have to be in the Most High secret place, right, which is his tabernacle. And understand that's not the idea of going to, a building. It's not a building. It's a spiritual place, right? There's a difference between the tabernacle and the temple, right? Hebraically, a tabernacle it goes back to the Hebrew word ahal, aleph, hey, lamed, ahal, right? And it's the idea of looking towards something, looking towards a light, right? So that also will tie in with the idea of what it means to repent, is to look or press towards the house, right? The house of Yahuwah, which is Torah, pressing towards his ways, his laws, his statutes, his commandments, right? So understand, we got to take it more serious, man. Like, we have to be, like, every day we need to be in this Bible. Every day we need to be, obviously it's a given, you got to, pray every day, but it's deeper than just praying and being in the Bible. We have to be in a place of worship. We have to be in a place where the Most High, when he's looking down from heaven, he's looking at who he can allow his light to dwell within. And if you're not doing your end to show him how serious you are, why should he do that? You know what I mean? Like, why should he privilege you with walking in his truth, right? Why should he privilege you with the light of truth, which is Torah, which is Hamashiach? Remember, he's the light of the world. So understand, we just got to get to a deeper level, like, as a nation, as individuals, and as a nation. We just got to be more serious about this thing. Like, we shouldn't still be struggling with the things that we were struggling with a year ago. Or for those of us who have just gotten in the truth, we shouldn't be struggling with those things that we were struggling with, a month ago. There should always be a consistent elevation, I should say, which is prophetic. It's a consistent elevation spiritually for those who ascend, right? Now, I was studying Psalms 15, right, and meditating on that, and I'm gonna read it to y'all because it's powerful. And the Most High sent me a couple places just with this idea that he wants his people in a place of elevation. He wants us to ascend. He wants us to vibrate on his wavelength, his frequency, which is Torah, right? Which is living and walking in truth. Not only guarding the commandments, but operating, being functional, functioning to the places where he has sent us to function. So for some of us, like myself included, it's prophetic, the realm of teaching prophetically, speaking and declaring the Most High's words when he's giving utterance as he is today. For some of us, it's worship, which, my wife and I also do that as well. But even deeper than that, some of us is just encouragement. Some of us, it's the idea of gathering people together. For others, it's the idea of education, like literally just teaching these scriptures for what they are, just teaching them, right? And then you got others who are called to do other things. You got people that are praise dancers, right? You got other people who are the ministry of helps, where it's literally their function and their assignment to help other people in what they're called to do. That's why some of us are blessed financially the way that we are, is to help sow into those who are carrying the truth. And again, that's not the purpose of this lesson, or I should say the purpose of this video. The purpose of this video is just to show you all how serious it is with Yah. Because trust me, there is a judgment coming, and we're going to talk about this more on Shabbat with the storms of destruction. We talked a little bit about it last week, but we're going to talk about it again this upcoming Shabbat. But it's way deeper than just confessing with your mouth, believing in your heart, and keeping the commandments. Like, you got to be functioning where Yah wants you to function. That's how you ascend, right? There's no way that Yahusha, son of Nun, who was Moshe's successor, right? He was the perfect, the prophet, or the warrior, the man sent to pretty much pick up the mantle after Moshe. There's no way he would have been able to lead the people into the promised land if he was literally just reading Torah and doing, just doing the bare minimum, right? He had to be functioning in his assignment in addition to studying and meditating on Torah, right? So I want you to see that there comes a point where we have to be active. We can't just sit back and watch videos and sit back and go to work and come home, and like, we have to be functioning in that thing that the Most High has called us to do, to be at a place of ascent. And ultimately, to get there, your heart has to be cleansed, right? Your intentions have to be pure. It can't be for self-gain. It can't be for the fact that you just want to be seen and you want to be popular. It can't be for money. You feel me? It can't be for none of those reasons that are outside of you literally wanting to do Yah's will and wanting his kingdom to be established here on the earth, right? That's the type of ascent that the Most High is talking about right there. And as a matter of fact, before we even read Psalms 15, some of the other places that the Most High has led me to share with you all today, I just want to read something from Joshua, where this is Joshua chapter 10 verse 16. I'm sorry, Joshua or Yahusha chapter 10 verse 6. And this is obviously when in the middle of when Yahusha is going up against these kings, right? He's taking the land, right? This is literally after he had made the sun stand still, right? Which is also, by the way, a crazy thing that never happened before. That was actually greater than what we witnessed with Moshe with the parting of the Red Sea. He literally spoke to the sun, and Yah gave him the authority to speak to the natural elements and cause them to stop. Crazy. But this is after that, right? This is literally after that, and you see where hold on, let me find it up here, because I got it in my notes, but the notes in my actual Sefer in my Bible are a little bit more powerful, a little bit more in depth, right? So look, this is chapter 10 in Yahusha, right? And again, this is, like I said, after all of that, all of the sun standing still. This is verse 6, where he literally says, it says this, it says, well, I'm going to read verse 5 and 6. Wait a minute. 10. Or actually, no, this is right before, my correction. Let me correct that. This is right before, it's in the same chapter where the sun stood still, right? Where Yahusha was given authority from the Most High to stop the natural elements for their battle, right? And I'm going to read verses 6 and 7. And it says, and the men of Gibeon sent to Yahusha the camp to Gilgal, saying, slack not your hand from your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us and help us. For all the kings of the Amorites that dwell in the mountains are gathered together against us. Now watch this. This is key verse, verse 7. So Yahusha ascended from Gilgal. He ascended from Gilgal, he and all the people of war with him, and all the mighty men of valor. And it's crazy because, again, not too long after this, you see that the Most High gives him victory over these kings, right? And not too long ago, the Most High had allowed the people of Gibeon to, the inhabitants of Gibeon to make allegiance with Yahusha and Israel, because they seen all of what was happening. And, they disguised themselves, they did some stuff, but they ultimately wanted to make an oath with them because they seen Yah's hand upon them, and they seen that their city would have been destroyed had they not done that. So saying all this to say that ultimately the place where they were physically, Gibeon was higher up on the hill, and Yahusha and all the men had to ascend to be able to fight this battle, right, against these kings of the Amorites, right? Or the Amorites. So ultimately, what the Most High was showing me with this is a prophetic picture of what we're talking about, as far as like people being a people, us being a people of ascent, us ascending, right? Yahusha had to be operating in his function, but where they were at physically to even do battle with these kings, they had to elevate, they had to go up, right? So the picture of that is ultimately the picture of us as Israel, man. Like, in order to do battle in this spiritual realm, in order for you to operate in your function the way that the Most High called you and designed for you to do it, we have to ascend, right? We have to ascend in our thinking. We have to ascend in our thoughts, right? That's why in the Brahadashai it says, take no thought, or I'm sorry, take what did he say? He said, casting down every thought and every imagination that exalts itself against the knowledge of Torah, or the knowledge of Yahusha HaMashiach, right? The knowledge of this word. So again, we have to ascend higher than the lower vibrations that are around us, right? So look, not too long after this, when it says Joshua ascended, I'm going to read to you verse 11 when it says, verse 11, it says, and it came to pass as they fled before Israel. So Israel was winning the battle against the kings of the Amorites. They were slaying them. They slayed everybody, right? Verse 11, it says, it came to pass as they fled from Israel, talking about the Amorites and all the other kings that were in, league with them, and were going down to Bet Koran, that Yahuwah cast down great stones from heaven upon Asqua, and they died. And there were more that died with hailstones than whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. So Yah supernaturally intervened in that battle, right? Let's keep reading verse 12. It says, then spoke Yahusha to Yahuwah in the day when Yahuwah delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, sun, stand still upon Gibeon, and you, moon, in the valley of Avalon. And the sun stood still and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is this not written in the Sefer of Yashar? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven, and hastened not to come about a whole day. And there was no day like that before it or after it, that Yahuwah hearkened unto the voice of a man. For Yahuwah fought for Israel. Understand that was supernatural. That superseded what Moshe did, or what the Most High used Moshe to do in parting of the Red Sea. That superseded that, because this wasn't something on the earth. The sea is on earth. This is something that's in the sky, in the heavens. So what I'm saying is, ultimately, Yahusha had to ascend, right? He had to elevate spiritually in his belief in what what he himself was able to do, and really be at a place to where the Most High was able to elevate him. Now let's look at this word ascent for a second. Just like how it said in verse 7 that he ascended, right? He ascended from Gilgal, right? This word Hebraically is ayin lamet hey, and it's the lifting of the yoke onto the shoulder. One taken into exile is placed in the yoke and transported for bondage. It was a common practice to strip the clothes of those who were in exile, right? That's the first part of it. But the second part of it is and this is the part that pertains to Yahusha and what we're speaking about, ascending. Who's going to ascend, right? To rise, right? Same letters, ayin, lamet, hey, to give or to bring oneself up. So you literally have to bring yourself up. I mean, yeah, Yah is the one that gives you the supernatural ability when you hearken to him. But there are things and decisions that you have to make yourself to be in this place of ascent, right? A lifting up of the cover as well. But that rising, I'm telling you, it's like we have to, as Israel, we got to rise up. We got to rise up. We have to be a people of ascent. We have to take this Torah walk, right? This Torah life serious. You got to be in this script every day, man. We got to every single day be asking, Yah, search my heart, try my heart, give me clean hands and a pure heart. Purify my intentions so that I can operate in that thing that you called me to operate in, right? Let's go to Psalm 15, because this is really where I was originally meditating, and of course I'm still continuing my study of Yahusha, so the two kind of merge today, if you will. But Psalms 15, right, verses 1 and 2, where it says, Yahuwah, who shall abide in your tabernacle? Right, and we already established the tabernacle is a place of movement. It's a place, Ayin Hey Lamed, the shining of the tent, right? A looking towards something. So again, the tabernacle is a place where Yah's light is shining, right? It's not necessarily the temple per se. I mean, yeah, eventually they did set up the temple under Solomon and that sort of thing, but the tabernacle was a moving thing. The Ark of the Covenant dwelt in the tabernacle, right? Tabernacle of Moshe. Let's keep going. So again, this is Psalms 15. Yahuwah, who shall abide in your tabernacle? Who shall dwell in your holy hill? And again, hills are places of ascent. The majority of the time, the tabernacles dwelt on a hill. And you can confirm this by studying, the tabernacle of Moshe and the tabernacle of Dawid in the scriptures, right? He that walks uprightly and works righteousness and speaks the truth in his heart. Again, y'all is showing me it's like, man, we got to take this thing serious, man. And our minds can't be focused on the cares of this world. It can't be focused on the things that throw us off from this walk. Finances, relationships with people that's not in truth, right? Popularity, man, all of those random things. It's like, nah, man, like get your mind off of those things and set your mind on what did Apostle Paul say in Colossians, set your mind on, or your affections on things above, not on things of the earth. So it comes a point where in order for us to do supernatural things like Yahusha did, right? Yahusha, son of Nun, stopping the sun and all that, and even Hamashiach, ultimately we have to have a mindset the way that they did, and their mind was on the heavenly things, which is Torah. Torah is spiritual. These are the heavenly matters, right? Now, go to Psalms 24. Psalms 24, and we're just going to read a couple verses in there. And again, that's why I love these Psalms, because, I mean, yeah, David wrote a lot of them, but Asaph wrote some of them, right? But this is actually one that David did, right? So, Psalms 24 says, the earth is Yahuwah's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. For he has founded it upon the seas and established it upon the floods, right? We talked about that last Shabbat, the flood that, came around the time period of Noah. Verse 3, though, this is our key verse. Who shall ascend into the hill of Yahuwah? Right? And again, the tabernacles for the most part were on hills. It's a place of ascent that you have to be in, right? It says, who shall stand in his holy place? Right? It's a set apart place. That's why you have to set yourself apart from these things of the world, right? Verse 4, he that has what? Clean hands and a pure heart, who has not lifted up his soul unto vanity or sworn deceitfully. He shall receive the blessing of Yahuwah and righteousness from the Elohim of his salvation, Yeshua. This is the generation of them that seek him, that seek your face, O Yaakov, Selah. So in other words, it's like, man, our generation, we have to be at a place of ascent in order to really be able to enter into the land, to be able to be under the salvation of Yahushua when he returns. We have to be a people of ascent, clean hands and a pure heart, right? We can't lift up our souls unto vanity. And again, that lifting up, we can't ascend to vanity. No, we have to ascend to Torah. We have to ascend to the instructions that our Abba gave us to do in this earth realm, right? So again, this is another Mezmor of David, a psalm written by David, but the Most High was even telling him, hey, if you want to take Jerusalem and certain things that you want to do as king over Israel, you got to ascend, right? And we know this because if we go to 119, he says, look, your word is a lamp unto my feet, a light unto my path, your Torah. And that light is where that light is what shines in the tabernacle, right? According to the Hebraic definition of what a tabernacle is. So I'm going to go one more place. This is Isaiah 33. And again, these are just scriptures that the Most High has allowed me to meditate on, and I'm just sharing these with you as a word of encouragement to get you through your day and to help you to see us being woke Israel, right? Woke Hebrew Israelites to the truth, walking in Torah, following the law, statutes, and commandments, following after Hamashiach, Yahusha, our King, right? This is what we have to meditate on these things. So again, this is Isaiah 33. I'm gonna start reading at verse 13, where it says, "Hear, ye that are afar off, what I have done, and ye that are near, acknowledge my might. The sinners in Zion are afraid. Fearfulness has surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? He that walks righteously and speaks uprightly," right? So in other words, when that judgment comes in the earth, who's going to do it? Who's going to be around? Just like we just read in Psalms 24, who shall ascend, right? Same thing with Psalms 15. Who shall ascend, right? Who shall dwell in Yahs Tabernacle, which is a place of ascent, where Yah's light, his Torah, dwells, right? Who among us will dwell with everlasting burnings? He that walks righteously and speaks uprightly. He that despises the gain of oppressors and shakes his hand from the holding of bribes, and stops his ears from hearing of blood, and shuts his eyes from seeing evil. He shall dwell on high. His place of defense shall be mountains of rocks. Bread shall be given to him, his water shall be sure. Your eyes shall see the king in his beauty, and they shall behold that which is very proud. So in other words, this type of person who, like we just read in Psalms 24, has clean hands and a pure heart, who's not giving in the bribes, who's not out here finessing and doing fraudulent stuff, right? Who's not out here, seeking vanity and seeking to be famous just because you just want to be famous. Nah, we want Yah's name to be known in the earth, right? We want Yah's esteem to be shown, right? We want his light to shine within us. So I'm going to keep reading. Your heart shall meditate in terror. Where is the scribe? Where is the receiver? Where is he that counted the towers? You shall not see a fierce people, a people of deeper speech than you can perceive, of a foreign tongue that you cannot understand. Look up on Zion, the city of our solemnities. So in other words, that city of our solemnities, that goes back to Moab, feast, appointed times, the appointed time of judgment, right? The appointed time where we gather, right? Sukkot, hallelujah, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Shavuot, Pesach, trumpets, right? Day of Atonement. All of these are solemn, our feasts. These are appointed time of feasts. But what does it say? Look upon Zion, the city of our feast, and you shall see Jerusalem, a quiet habitation. A tabernacle. What does that mean? Again, the idea of this tabernacle is it's a looking towards the light. That's where the light is dwelling within the tabernacle. That's where Yah dwells. So if you really want Yah to dwell with you in these last days, you have to get at a place where your heart is pure and you're actually looking towards him every single day, multiple times a day if possible, right? That's what we have to do. Finish off this verse. Not one of their, it says, a tabernacle that shall not be taken down. So in other words, the light that's going to be shining from Jerusalem at this point is a light that is not going to be dimmed. The picture of this is like the priest that had the menorah burning in the temple. That light never went out. It was never supposed to go out, right? So if you keep reading, it says, look, a tabernacle that shall not be taken down. Not one of their stakes thereof shall be removed. Neither shall any of the cords thereof be broken. So in other words, Yah's esteem and his light, right, is going to be established so strong in those days that nothing is going to be able to prevent it. But in order for you to see it, remember the topic is who will ascend, right? Us being a people of ascent, us people being a people of going up. elevating to Yah's frequency, which is Torah, keeping and following the laws, statutes, and commandments. Who's going to be that? The person who purifies himself, the person who cleanses his heart, the person who does not seek vanity, does not have his mind set on the things that are of this physical earthly realm, right? So I just want to encourage y'all, man. There's some things coming up on this earth, and it's crazy that even in this verse it talks about the feast days, because I'm telling you, as we enter into more of these feast days, like you already seen back in the Pesach, that's really when the coronavirus and all that stuff turned up, and even all the stuff with the police brutality and all that stuff. Shavuot, that was when a lot of that stuff kicked in, right after or on, their holiday, which is Memorial Day. But right after that, we had our feast, which was Shavuot, right? So again, around these time periods, you're definitely going to see more and more judgment being poured out on the earth. And to be able to withstand during that time period, to be able to make it into the land, right? To see the salvation of Yahuwah through Yahushua HaMashiach, you got to purify yourself. We have to be cleansed. Our minds have to be on things above, not on things of the earth. We have to be a people of Ascent. That's where the light of Yah's esteem dwells. That's where the tabernacle is. Shalom.